All right. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here with us tonight. We are doing today's topic on emotion tools. And this one is really special to me because this is probably some of my favorite kind of doctoring to do, is to teach people different tools for working through their emotions. And that's because this is one of the things that is most challenging for me. And so the more I learn and can teach you guys, the easier it is for me to shift and change myself. So it's really important because all of our physical things that go on in our body come from an emotional place. And the reason for that is because everything starts with a thought. And a thought informs our body's responses, and then our body's responses create the environment for our physical well-being. So it's a chain reaction of events. And if we can start at the beginning where the thoughts live, then we can change the nature of everything that comes afterwards.
And when you look at like heavy duty symptoms and conditions, we were working with this cancer clinic a while back, and they had said that 80 or 90% um, of the time when it comes to cancer patients, tumor patients, that you're dealing with a trauma that's happened that the body remembers. So yeah, I mean, the emotions are going to be, a big deal, and they're a big deal with our well-being and pretty much with everything, because, the choices that we make food wise, relationship wise, internal, external wise, is all based off of the emotional content on either an intellectual level, a behavioral level, emotional level, or something greater than ourselves. But there's all those aspects that are kind of informing how we treat ourselves, how we treat each other. And I mean, even when it comes to food, I mean, you're making those decisions to eat or drink or whatever, you know, toxic stuff or healthy stuff,
Yeah,
based off of those kinds of decisions.
absolutely. So as you guys know, we like to start with a quote that kind of fits whatever we're talking about and that is inspiring to us for the week. And so the one we chose this week says, emotions are not problems to be solved. They are signals to be interpreted.
And you have one.
I do, yes. I mean, and I do, emotional check-ins on myself maybe once a week, right? It probably should be more often than that. But a lot of times we'll have physical symptoms that will be pointing to something emotional. And so yesterday I started having a pain in my shoulder, and it almost felt like the tendon or the muscle was bruised, but I hadn't done anything physically to cause that to occur. So in checking in with myself, it was really my body alerting me to slow down, not necessarily slow down in what I was doing day to day, not like I was running around, doing a bunch of errands or something, but it was more in the sense of slow down your thoughts, take more time to be present, allow yourself to really just kind of tune into the moment rather than what do I need to do next? What else has to get done? How is my to-do list coming along? And all of these kind of racing thoughts that we can tend to have.
So this obviously goes hand in hand with their signals to be interpreted. So I'm sure
Yes.
everyone has come across pain and discomfort in their life, and the best thing that you can do with any pain, no matter, even if you're like, oh no, I know why I got it, I fell down, or I know this because I just ate this cheese pizza and my stomach hurts. All pain is it's great teachers for us.
Yeah.
And so we just need to, pay attention to that and really check in.
Yep. Absolutely. So again, I'm Dr. Michelle,
I'm Dr. Matthew.
and we are Dr. Me and You for anyone who's new to this call or who doesn't really know us.
And yeah, we usually do deep dives into these voice reports that we created, but obviously for this month we are doing some fun lectures that Michelle is really excited. She's been
Yes.
practicing all day with preparing for tonight, because this is kind of her dance.
Yeah, this is my favorite.
We like to teach, and that's what we're all about. We want to teach ourselves out of a job. We want to teach you how to take care of yourself in a different way, in a natural way, and using multiple modalities, which one you will learn tonight.
So why emotion tools, and what are they? Well, why is just what we talked about before. It's because everything starts with an emotion or a thought. And emotion tools are simply techniques or approaches that you can use to take that feeling or that emotional response or even a thought process that you might have and turn this into an opportunity to evolve yourself into a different way of being, behaving, doing, interacting with the world around you. And when you can really use these approaches, it keeps you from getting stuck in a lot of these daily mental and emotional loops that we can find ourselves stuck in, where we're repeating behaviors over and over again and not getting different results.
Very poetic.
Thank you. So I'm going to give you a few kind of unique ones off the bat, and then we're actually going to do an interactive exercise together, where I'm going to give you a formula, and then I'm going to go through and do an example of it, and then we're going to do it together so that you can do it on yourself with me. And for that, you might want to grab a pencil and a paper. We're not quite there yet, but I will give you guys a pause so that you can go grab your pencil and paper when we get there. But first, here's just a couple of really simple, easy emotional tools that you can implement. And the first one is gratitude. And that's because in the brain, neurologically, you cannot have fear and anxiety existing in the same space as gratitude. So when fear and anxiety are really prevalent and they're kind of bubbling up and you're feeling anxious about something or you're worrying about things that are to come and you're not really present, if you can switch your mindset and say, you know what, I'm just going to take the next 30 seconds and I'm going to write down or say out loud everything I'm currently grateful for. So when I'm having a bad anxiety day, this is a really great tool for me to use. And I've actually made a list of all of my gratitudes on my phone so that even if I'm not really, quote unquote, feeling it, then I can just go to that list on my phone and I can read those things out loud to myself. And it always cheers me up because it reminds me of all these amazing things that I can be grateful for.
You even have it on your in Mandarin, right?
I also have, my screensaver on my phone is 我很感激, which means I am grateful for. And so, because I love Chinese. And so that's one of the things that I like to do to remind myself every day to be grateful. And the things that you can be grateful for, it doesn't have to be something you have, it can be something very simple. So for example, one of my items on my list is I am grateful to live in a world where whales exist, because I think they are the most awesome creatures on the planet. And so even just thinking about living in the same world as a whale really makes me smile and makes my heart happy. And it's hard for me to be fearful and anxious when I'm really happy thinking about whales.
And then the other thing, for me, it's not as unique. I like to start the day off by just being grateful that I'm alive. So I keep it that simple for myself. Just start it off really easy. No matter what kind of day I'm having, meaning, if I'm sick or if I'm hurt or if I'm healing or exhausted or whatever, it's like, as soon as my eyes open, I'm like, oh, I get another day. And that, is super, grateful for me. And then obviously, whenever I go turn on the lights in the bathroom, I get reminded again because I'm like, oh, I get power.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so nice. Or like, hot water. I mean, it's
Hot
so
water
simple
for a
for me.
shower. Yeah.
I mean, we have more than what we need in the US for pretty much most of us. I mean, even the poorest people, in the US are way better off than as soon as you leave this country and go into, other third world countries where nothing brings a new meaning. And so it's just, yeah, I mean, it's just the simple things like turning on the light, having power, just the simple things for me for gratitude. So yes, I mean, I think it's huge that you really cannot have anxiety and fear, if you're in this state of gratitude. And, anxiety is going to come from your future. And then if you're feeling more depressed, that's because you're moving more into your past.
And I remember when I was living in China, I was walking down one of the oldest streets, Harbin. It's a city in northern China. And have you ever kind of felt somebody's joy? somebody that is just smiling so big and is just so openly happy that you can almost feel how joyful they are as you're coming towards them. That's exactly what happened to me. I saw this little old woman at the end of the street. She was sweeping her porch. She had, a very kind of makeshift house that was made out of old plywood, and everything was a little bit of concrete or mud. And she had a broken down plastic basket, like a little bucket outside the front porch where her clothes were soaking in some water and some sunshine. And she had the biggest smile on her face as she swept her porch, and she was humming and she was laughing, and I could feel her joyfulness from all the way down the street. And I thought to myself, this woman has so little, but she's one of the happiest people I've ever met in my entire life. And still to this day, I can remember what it felt like to be near her and feel how joyful she openly was. So again, you can have so much joy with so little. So another really fun emotional tool or technique is to use color. We live in this world that is just filled with beautiful colors. Think of a rainbow. It's still amazing to me every time I see one, because we're seeing all these spectrums of different colors of light. But what's even more amazing is that every single color can actually make us feel a different way. And so if you surround yourself with colors, different colors will do different things for you. So there will be days where I wake up and I'm like, you know what? I need pink around me today. I need something soft. I need something comforting, something warm. And I have a special shawl that's white and pink. And there are certain days where I know that if I wrap myself in that shawl of pink, I'm going to feel comforted. I'm going to feel better. In our emotional level 2 class, we actually take this to a whole different level by providing transparent sheets of different colors, and we work through different emotional exercises viewing through different colored lenses, because it actually changes the way that the brain perceives things around you. And so we talk about jumping into different moments and memories with a colored lens, and how that actually changes the nature of the details you remember and the stuff that your brain picks up on. And so it's a lot of fun. Colors can do a lot of things. So the next time you find yourself a little blue or a little, not literally blue, but, a little bit down or sad or anxious or anything like that, ask yourself what color would make you feel better, and see if you can surround yourself with that color in your environment, even for a week. If you're needing cheerfulness and confidence and creativity and fun, maybe you put orange things around you, like an orange picture frame or some orange flowers, or wear an orange sweater, or drink pumpkin tea, or whatever it might be, something that represents orange for you. So again, just really surrounding yourself with that color so that you can shift your emotional state.
And just try it out. Just try, even if you're not sure what color you think you need, just try doing it and watch yourself change how you behave and how you think and how you feel.
Yeah. So this is another emotional tool or emotional technique, and this is really focused on moving energy through the body in different ways. We're electrical beings, so our body's giving off electrical signals all the time, and we can actually make like a circuit when we hold our hands or our fingers. So this is something called Jinshin Jitsu. This is an Asian technique where you actually take one hand and you hold different fingers to transform the energy in your body. So as you can see from this image, if you hold your thumb, you can help transfer worry into peace. If you hold your pointer finger, you can transform fear into courage. If you hold your middle finger, ironically enough, you can transform your anger into love. I have used that while driving, by the way. And if you hold your ring finger, you can transform sadness into joy. And if you hold your pinky, you can transform effort into ease. And if you just want to harmonize everything all at once, you can hold the palm of your hand.
And it's just good to do both hands. I don't think doing one or the other, right?
No, it doesn't matter which one you do, as long as you're closing the circuit, essentially, is what you're doing.
But it's always good to do both sides, and I also think that it's good to, hold on for anywhere between 2 and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Take a moment.
Yeah. And each of these also, interestingly enough, it doesn't show it on this graphic, but each of these also correspond to a different organ or system in the body. So for example, fear to courage, which is the pointer finger, that's going to be related to your kidneys. Anger to love, which is the middle finger, that's going to be related to your liver. Sadness to joy, which is your ring finger, that's going to be related to your lungs. And interestingly, the easiest one for digestion is to harmonize your whole being, which also reiterates how important digestion is and digesting your emotions. So this is the exercise that I'm really excited to get into today with you guys. This is called a self-scan exercise. And this is one of the exercises that we do during our emotional intelligence level 1 class. So this is what you'll need a pen and paper for. So I'm going to give it a minute or two to go grab pen and paper. Yeah.
Oh, now you look at you fancy.
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys another minute and then we'll jump in.
Yeah, if anyone needs a little bit more time, just let us know.
Yeah.
But we'll give it another minute and then get started. And you'll kind of have two opportunities. So first you're gonna just kind of witness, and I would just recommend just the experience. So just, witnessing Dr. Michelle doing this. And then we'll go through it again where then you can kind of do it. Is that right?
Yes. So this is kind of follows the method of see one, do one, teach one. So I'm going to give you the formula for this exercise, and then you're going to see me do one, and then we're going to do one together. And then you're welcome to go home and practice this. And once you're comfortable, teach one. So we want these tools to be accessible to everybody, because if we have happier humans, we have a better world and we have healthier people. And so I encourage you to teach this to anyone who's interested. We love it when you guys share this information with your community and with people that you feel like would benefit from it.
And this exercise is kind of a combination technique, right? So it's not just looking at the emotional, but it's also looking at physical aspects that you can kind of scan. And then it's kind of, in my opinion, an introduction if you've never been introduced to muscle testing or a Silva method or anything like that. This scan is kind of a great way to kind of introduce your entire self and your entire being into tapping into your intuitive nature, into your intuitive part of who you are.
Because remember, our goal is for us to teach you how to doctor yourself. And this is a really great exercise for you to learn how to better tune into yourself and understand what your body's communicating, what those signals are, and then what to do about it. Because you're going to know your body better than anyone else that's not living in it. So as long as you're there, let's teach you how to know what to do. All right. So the formula is this. This is a self-scan exercise. First, you want to really get centered. That means you want to get comfortable. You want to take deep breaths, And you want to make sure that your mind and heart are calm and centered. And then we're going to imagine that we're doing a scan over ourselves. When I do it in my head, it kind of looks like a Star Trek scanner, very futuristic, where something is beaming down across my whole body. And then I just want to notice as I'm doing this scan, where does it feel sticky? Where does it feel like it pauses? These pauses are my body, my subconscious mind, trying to draw my attention to something that's going on. And when I pause, I want to really feel into that area and ask myself what information comes to mind. The key to that step is it's the first thing that pops into your head, and don't overthink it. It doesn't have to make sense. And in fact, usually the less sense it makes, the more wonderfully revealing it is for information you actually need to know. So whatever information comes up is perfect and wonderful. You just jot it down. And then you want to ask the body, what does that area that was drawn your attention to, what does it need for nourishment? And nourishment can look like all kinds of different things. It can look like something physical, so something you might need to eat or drink or take. It can look like something mental, like a habit that you need to break or something you need to tell yourself. It can look like an emotion, so maybe a certain memory or a trauma that needs to be released or let go of. So it can even be something that you imagine in your mind and then expand in that area to bring healing to that area through visualization. So you can really use any number of nourishment opportunities and approaches that you'd like. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It is whatever comes up for you. So now that you know the format, I'm going to go ahead and do one on myself, and I'm going to say everything out loud. And then after I complete my self-scan, then I'm going to walk you guys through doing a self-scan on you. All right. So I'm going to take a deep breath. And I'm just going through my process of getting myself centered. So first, that means mentally relaxing my body and calming my mind, kind of blocking out any external sounds or noises around me and really going inward. And just bringing a joy and a smile into my heart and expanding that throughout my body so that I start off on a calm and happy note. And once the smile reaches from my heart to my face, and I can tell because I'm smiling and I can't help it, then I know I'm ready to begin. So I'm imagining my big, beautiful light of a scanner. So to me, it looks like a big kind of a golden ring of light that I'm essentially moving from the top of my head down my body. So it starts at the very top of my head, and it's going to move down my forehead, past my eyes, and it starts to get a little sticky behind my ears. So I know that this is my first pause point. So I'm going to take a moment to feel into the pause point. And the information that comes up is pressure and a little bit of congestion. And it's kind of behind the ears and also kind of towards the back of my neck. So now I'm just going to take a minute and ask my body, what is it trying to communicate there? What's the first thing that pops into my mind? The first thing that comes up for me is lymphatics. Oh, okay. So there's a little bit of lymphatic congestion there for me. So what do I need to do for myself to nourish that area? Is it that I need to drink more water? No, I've been pretty good about my water. Okay. Would massage be helpful? Yes, massage would definitely be helpful. So I need to take my knuckles and I need to just massage that back part of my ears, from behind my ears down my neck. Ah, that feels better already. And I can feel it's a little stiff. It's a little sore. So that's giving me confirmation that, yeah, that's something that I really need right now. My body needs more of this to relax and to just let itself continue doing what it needs to do. Oh, now that that feels better, am I ready to move on with my scanning? Yeah, I am. So I'm going to keep scanning down my body, and oh, it pauses at the tops of my shoulders. There's tension there. There's tightness. Feels like a very tight rubber band. What do I need for this area? Well, I need to continue doing the therapies that I've been doing because I work on my neck on and off quite a bit. So we have a device called an H-wave. I think that would help. Oh, I think an essential oil would help too. I hadn't thought of that yet. Great. What kind of essential oil would be best? I'm thinking some lavender, something relaxing for those muscles. Maybe an Epsom salt bath too. That would be a great idea. Yeah. So when I imagine myself taking an Epsom salt bath and rubbing some lavender on my shoulders, oh, my shoulders start to feel relaxed already. That's wonderful. Okay, I'm going to add that to my mental to-do list of things that I'm going to make a priority for myself this week. All right, am I ready to keep moving my scanner? Yep, I think I am. So my scanner keeps moving down past my shoulders, past my clavicle, my upper chest, and now it pauses at my heart. What does the heart feel like? It doesn't feel strained. It doesn't feel inflamed. It feels sad. So what is my heart asking for nourishment? It's asking me to tell it that I'm doing a good job. That's not something I tell myself very often. And that's something that my heart really needs to hear right now. You are doing a good job. And that's a hard thing for me to say. But that's what my heart needs. And it's okay if there's some tears, because I know that that's the liver cleaning itself. And that's also my body releasing emotions through my lymphatic fluid. So heart, I am doing a good job. Is there anything else that my heart needs to hear right now? No, that's exactly what it needed to hear. So now I'm going to continue my scan, and it goes down past my lungs, past my liver, because I've been taking real good care of that lately. That's a happy liver, going down to my lower abdomen. Oh, there's some digestive imbalance going on there. I could do with bumping up my probiotics a little bit more. That would be helpful. Okay, great. I know to add some probiotics to my routine for this coming week. Now I'm going to move it down to the lower back. Oh, it gets stuck there. What does the lower back need? My lower back is asking for more movement. Great. I need to start setting reminders on my phone to get up and stretch between my appointments and between sitting all day. So I'm going to make a mental note to start setting some reminders on my phone this week to get up and move around every hour or so. That sounds good. Now I'm going to move my scanner past my hips, down the thighs, down the knees, down the calves, down the feet, and it doesn't pause anywhere else. So that means my scan is complete. And now I can open my eyes because I've completed my scan. So now thinking back, I think, okay, what do I need to add to what I'm doing this week? I need to do more massages behind my ears, along my neck. I need to do an Epsom salt bath and put some lavender oil on my shoulders and keep doing some light therapy and some things on my shoulders. I need to make it a point to tell my heart that I'm doing a good job every single day. I need to make sure that I do some extra probiotics with my foods this week. And that's it. It's that simple. And it's okay if you get emotional because this is an emotional tool. So,
Yeah.
all right. So now what we're going to do is I want you guys to do your own self-scan. You know the formula. You saw me do it. And so now you're going to just, do we have questions before we get started?
Are you sure you weren't scanning someone else?
Yes, I'm sure. Why? Was there some things that hit home?
Way too many of them.
All right. That's fair. And it's okay if yours are the same as mine, or if they're the same as somebody else's, or if they're the same week to week. So if you make it a point to do this on yourself once a week, some things will come up that will be the same and some will come up that will be different. So the example that I wrote out on the screen is actually a self-scan that I did on myself last week. So last week, my head came up because my brain felt dehydrated. And so I made it a point to make sure that I was getting in more water over the past week. And when I was scanning today, that didn't come up this time because I had already addressed that and my body had brought itself back to balance in that area. So yeah, but my chest did come up last time. That could have been the beginning of these heart-related feelings. And all I did last week was I imagined pouring light into the area because it felt dark and it felt damp and it felt closed. And so I poured light into that area several times throughout the week. And this time it was more specific. It was the heart, and it was something the heart needed to hear. And then last time I also got the lower abdomen, just like I did today. But last time it felt gooey and stale and rotten, and I needed more vegetables and more water. And since I did that, I had salads and I had water. It just came up that, hey, we need some more gut bacteria in there that's good and healthy. So add some more probiotics now. So this is also a way to help you work through different layers of yourself and layers of your health, because the body goes through healing cycles where it needs different things at different times. And so this is, again, just a great tool to make sure that you're working through those layers just a little bit at a time. Anything to add, my dear?
No, the only thing I would recommend is, if you're looking at this long term, you want to, if you can do this every week, once a week for a couple months, you'll get into the habit where you'll build that new muscle. And so, you won't need to do it every week. You might do it once a month, or then eventually after a couple months of doing it every week, you'll get to a point where you're only doing it when you need it, because you're able to really kind of check in with yourself without you even thinking about it. So you definitely want to get to that point, because, then you'll know what your body needs on a day-to-day basis, which is huge.
Yeah.
So Matthew and Michelle, are there certain things that throughout the day become a trigger that you can use this on right away to find out what it's doing in the body? So a trigger could completely affect all of the systems in the body. It could affect one area. So at the time that that's happening, you recognize you're in a trigger situation. You can actually go through the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, the whole scanning of your body at that time.
Absolutely. This is a very flexible exercise. So you can do it reactively when something comes up and triggers you, whether it's physical or emotional, or you can do it proactively and just start off the day with it.
I'd probably say the quickest way, rather than, I think the scan is going to be useful, but I think if you're triggered, I would probably recommend the gratitude first, because how are you going to get centered if you're triggered?
Oh,
Okay.
that's a very good point.
So,
Yeah.
how are you going to really get centered to do a appropriate scan if you're in the triggered state? So I would say the first thing you probably want to do is get into that gratitude state, go after gratitude first. get out of the trigger as much as possible using gratitude, and then go into a space to get centered and scan yourself and pause and figure out the nourishment.
Yeah, forget my,
Because-
that's a better one.
No, I mean, I think the scanning, you can be, I just think you need a pre-step before going into the scan if you're going from an immediate trigger state.
Yeah.
That's all.
So to add a additional question onto that, then you would be able to, I mean, when that trigger happens, when you're going into your gratitude and then you're working through it, at different times, that trigger could affect different areas of your body. Is that
100%.
accurate? Okay,
Yes.
thank
Yeah,
you.
you might get one, you might get two, or you might have this feeling like where you scan and you don't like really see much or don't feel much. And it could be because it's a whole being thing, right?
Right.
It's a whole body.
Okay.
It's not a specific spot. It's like, you're feeling that whole body. So definitely when you're scanning into that degree and when you start scanning, you should be open up to the possibility that it might not be a specific spot that's feeling tight or dry. It could be the whole body, and it could be a systemic thing.
And if that happens, you can still ask yourself, what do I need for nourishment?
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you for that clarification on all points. Yep.
Thanks for questions. Those are
Yes.
great. Other people might have those questions too. So does anyone else have any other questions before you guys do it yourself?
Welcome down.
All right.
All right, let's walk with each other on at least the getting centered and going through this.
So go ahead and have your pen and paper handy. And I want you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Slowly let it out. Deep breath in. And slowly let it out. And as you exhale, you're exhaling all the worries and stressors of the day. Let your whole body relax. Let your muscles sink into where you're sitting. Feel your body kind of melt into the position it's in. So there's no tightness, no strain. Another deep breath in. And deep breath out. And bring your attention inward into the center of your chest, into your heart or into your core, wherever it feels most like you, wherever you live. And picture yourself smiling. And really capture this feeling of joy that you get from picturing yourself smiling. It doesn't have to be smiling over anything in particular. Just a memory or an image of you smiling. And then imagine a volume dial that you can turn. And as you turn this volume dial, that smile and that joy that you're feeling in your center, it expands and it spreads, and it's spreading out through your chest, through your abdomen, up through your shoulders, down through your hips, out through your arms, out through your legs, until it's radiating past your fingers and your toes and up through your head, and your whole body is filled with this big smile. And you just can't help but smile along with it. And then take another breath and know that you're centered and ready to begin. And I want you to imagine a big, beautiful circle of light hovering above you. And this light slowly starts to come down towards the top of your head. And know that as it scans you, it's going to pause at certain places that require your attention. So we're moving this scanner over the top of our head, down past the forehead. And if you feel a pause at any point, just jot down where that pause happens. We're going to go slow to give anyone who wants to time to write down their pauses. And as your scanner pauses, jot down any information that comes to mind. It's the first thing that comes to mind, and there are no wrong answers. And when something comes up, ask yourself, what does it need for nourishment? Again, the first thing that comes to mind is wonderful. There are no wrong answers. This scanner moves from that forehead down to the eyes. It's scanning the brain, moves over the nose, moves down to the ears, the mouth, and the jaw. Moves down to the chin and the base of the head. Moves to the neck. It moves down the neck and over the throat. Also where the esophagus is. Things connected to digestion. It moves down across the hollow of the throat. This is also thyroid and parathyroid. Moves down the tops of the shoulders. Down the clavicle, that collarbone. Now we're in the upper chest, it's upper lungs. We're moving down towards the heart. This is also the upper and the middle back, the sides of the arms, the upper deltoids. We're continuing down the chest. We're getting to the diaphragm. And we've got liver, gallbladder, pancreas, spleen, stomach, all of those things that help with those digestive processes. Moving down a little bit further, we're now into the upper abdomen, small intestines, the kidneys, the adrenals. Moving down further, got your core, your belly button. Continuing down, we're into that lower back. You're into the large intestines, the appendix, that lower abdomen area. We're going to move over the hips, pelvis, all those areas of reproduction. For women, that's your uterus and your ovaries. For men, that's the testes and the prostate. All the lower parts of the colon, like the sacrum and the rectum, everything that has to do with elimination. Now we're moving over the thighs. Over the knees. Over your shin bones and your calves. Down to the ankles. Over the heels. Over the middle of the foot. Through the tops of the feet, the balls of the feet. And over the toes. And continue to stay in your scan as long as you need to continue jotting down your pause points and what comes up and what they need for nourishment. It doesn't matter if you have 1 pauses or 5 pauses or 10. It's whatever comes up for you. I'm going to open my eyes to complete this exercise, but you take as much time as you need. All right, and I'm going to stop recording because anyone who would like to share, I'd like you to feel comfortable to do so. So this will be the end of our emotion tools video today.
You switched it. You gotta go click the mouse. Yeah. Now back.